G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the east side of the map, in the colour pink, playing as the Rus, it's Core. And on the west side of the map, in the colour teal, playing as the Abbasid dynasty, it's Don Artie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lipany. We're here casting two of the world's best players going up against one another. For anybody who's unfamiliar with Don Artie, doesn't have the highest IQ. Doesn't have the highest APM either. I think it's a bit of a joke with his below room temp IQ. I'm not sure what type of room or what room temperature he's talking about, whether it's Fahrenheit or Celsius, but I like to think that it's Celsius because that really just goes to show the extent that Don breathes through his mouth. Look, he's not alone there. I'm a mouth breather as well. We've all been there. Now, let's talk a little bit about this matchup. This matchup's got quite a bit of history in it. And personally, it's a matchup I don't like because it involves the Rus. And I just hate this civilization so much. I think part of the reason why I dislike this civ so much is just because of the fact you have to contest wolves. And I don't like wolves. I don't like the sounds they make. I don't like the screams they have. I think the biggest part that annoys me about it is that when you play against the Rus, it forces you to play their game. So you might have a build order in mind and you might be like, all right, I'm going to do 7 vils on food and 6 vils on gold and 14 vils on wood. And then it's like, oh, it's a Rus player. Now I have to make a scout. And we've seen a trend away from the scouts. You know, you can see Don here who's managed, he's managed to find both of his hunts and take them out with single scouts. And if there's any civilization that's very insulated against this, it's the Abbasid dynasty. And the large reason because of that, or the large reason why, is because they only need their starting 3 sheep, and that's all that they need. And then from there, they go out to berries, or at least that's the way that Don used to play it. I don't know if he still plays it that way. And it basically means that you forego a lot of the map. So if we take a look from the perspective of Core, he's gathered up a fair amount of sheep on these scouts so far. And we see his 3rd scout now coming out. So he's giving up a lot of sheep. And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? Because the sheep no longer give bounty over to the Rus player, so it's not like you're losing out on that in that regard, but obviously it does give up food, and you're not going to be getting that food, and ideally you want to be. Now, interestingly, we see a military wing coming out from the Don. This is not something that we've been seeing a lot of, but this did actually get buffed. And there's a part of me that thinks that this might actually be good. So, I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Don Artie. I just remember he said something to the effect of, I think military wing will become the meta. And the reason why is this. Essentially, you open with the military wing, 2 archers, 2 spears, and you drop a stable down. When you do that, what's going to happen is you've got incredible control that you're able to establish with that, because it means that if your enemy goes spears, you've got archers. If your enemy goes cav, you've got spears. If your enemy goes, what's the other one that I didn't mention? If your enemy goes archers, you've got the cav. So basically it gives you all 3 units from the very beginning of the game, and then you can use that to really punish the enemy, right? Like, let's think about it from the perspective of Core. Maybe Core's thinking, oh, I might get a 2nd town center down. I'm feeling like a 2nd TC here. But Don comes out, puts some pressure on the stone. What is it? Spear Archer that comes out. So Core drops an archery range down and starts producing archers. And he comes out here and defends the stone. Well, guess what? Then Don comes in with his horsemen that he's made, because that's what he went into. And now you've got a bit of a problem because you can't contest these resources. Now, of course, you can talk about, you know, the archers and, well, they've got the safety of the town center and all of that good stuff. But at the end of the day, it does give the Abbasid a lot of control in the early game. So we may be witnessing the beginning of a brand new meta here, and it's not often that we talk about that. I know that it's a bit of a meme, you know, we talk about the new meta is this meta, is that meta, but there is a very good chance that this does become meta. And we do indeed see the stable is going to get thrown down here. So Don Artie going to be looking to pioneer a new strategy, a new Abbasid future, and we do see that those units are going to come through. Remember, those units don't come through until the house is finished, just because they are extra population, but already beginning to move out across the map. 4 units, so a lot of aggression. Let's see what damage he can do. When it comes to doing damage on the wood line, Core's pretty well protected from that. You can see the Kremlin down here as well. We'll lose out 1 scout, so a little bit of a mistake there from Core, losing the scout. 2nd scout is here just to spot that out. He's trying to trail the enemy units. So definitely aggression could be coming in from this side, and we can see Don with a scout on the north side of Core's base. So there's going to be a stable coming down, but remember, we've already got the 2 spearmen out here, which will be able to defend against that. Right on board with Don as he begins to move out over towards the east side of the map. Spots out the stable from his enemy. Might look to drop down a barracks in response. No, it's going to be an archery range. So he's going to be moving into double horsemen here, which makes a lot of sense. But then following up with an archery range. So there you go. That makes a bit more sense. Drops down the barracks in response to the stable. But we do see an archery range is coming up though. So by the same token, Core is on the ball as to what his enemy is going to be up to. But it's all about this early aggression. And I think my question is, how many knights is Core actually going to be able to get out? And the answer is none. The answer is none. The age ups come through. He did pick up an early wheelbarrow. We saw that. And the double broad axe means that there's no early knights coming out for Core. The only thing he's going to be able to make a horseman. And if there's one thing you should know about horsemen, it is that they're not very good against spearmen. They're very good against archers, but terrible. Oh, that's a dead scout. That is a dead scout. And that's 3 sheep gone. And Don losing a scout early on hurts a lot. So we'll have to see how he looks to play it and whether he adds in an additional scout. We see more horsemen looking to come out across the map. He's already got 3 horsemen out and just kind of leaving them back in base for the moment. We're right on board with Core because Core's got that single scout. And we see Don actually going for a second TC behind this. And I think this is where you can somewhat be forgiven for being fooled by what Don's doing, because basically he's going all out on the aggression. And yet still expanding behind this. So I know I would be scratching my head. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that would be scratching their head watching this thinking, Don, if you're going to go for a second TC, why not go for the eco wing? Well, the reason why is because then you don't have this pressure, this added pressure from the beginning of the game. Because Core very much feels like he has to play on one base here. Going for a blacksmith, 4 military production facilities. Like, he is completely just going ham on this. But we do have villagers. Looks like one Vil might go down. Don Adi not really paying attention. Spear's going around the top side. Vil's coming around the bottom side. But indeed, they do manage to fix it up. Professional scouts not yet in for Core. Might not even look to go for it. But we do see units moving out across the map. Keep in mind, Don does have those 2 archers. So even if you want to try and deny this, you're going to be in a bit of a tough spot. Single scout together with the horseman. Going to be looking to pick up a villager. And we see that more units are going to be defending over on the additional town center that's coming up. And it looks like the Vil might get away. He dies right before the end zone. He dies. It is it's a tough time to be a gold villager, that is for sure. So Core's going to be happy he picks up 1 villager here. A couple more villagers back over towards this town center are quite low. Now keep in mind that one of the things that is going for the military wing is the fact that you still have access to fresh foodstuffs now available in the town center. So even though you've foregone the economic wing, you still have the advantage of creating cheaper villages of the Abbasid. But Core now going to be just committing to what seems to be a 1-base play. So very interesting style, because Don basically forces Core into a 1-base style and now forces him, says, hey, if you want to try and beat me, you're going to have to take out this town center. But remember, Don's gone military wing, so he's got a number of things working for him. One of those spears does go down, only loses the 1 spear, so he's going to garrison in the TC just to hold for the moment. I really do like this play. And now Core's going to be forced to go into siege engineering. Let's ride on board and see whether he's picked it up just yet. It doesn't look like it. So, interesting decision from Core, moving into the blacksmith, but not picking up any specifically timely tech at the moment. There's the siege engineering. Double broad axes in, wheelbarrows in, so if there's ever a push that could be detrimental to the Abbasid, it is this one. It's a very powerful push, so Don's going to be in a bit of a tough spot here. Archers push through. Second villager going to go down. Third villager going to go down. Core starting to build up. A nice little deficit here. He's still down on the 1 villager, though. I think that's just a consequence of Don being a little bit silly going out for these deer here. You got all the deer close to the town center, but he wasn't opting for those. Now Don going to be looking to produce plenty of horsemen. We see double stable now added in for him. Couple of walls down here on the bottom side. He's got access to the berries. I suspect he's going to be prioritizing this hunt, and interestingly goes for the hunt that's at the front. Don's hunts have spawned pretty close to his town center. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just find, like, look at this. This hunt feels so far away from Core. But then you look at Don's hunts, and it's like he's got one safe down here, which is like just outside the berries. Then he's got another, which is safe on the other side of the trees. It feels like both of them have spawned very close to the TC. So Don with a pretty good spawn this game. And the first of the battering rams is out, but Don's got to be careful. He spots out those archers, +1, not through just yet. Expected to be on the way shortly for Core. We're right on board with him. You can see he's got enough resources in the bank for it. And a second battering ram's going to come down. Where is that +1 though, Core? I'm looking for it. I'm expecting it any second. There it is. He's going to go ranged armor first. This will help him dive underneath that town center. By the same token, expect for Don to avoid moving into that. Typically when you see the Abbasid, they're just going to be playing wood, food very heavily. Instead of going for those upgrades, he's just going to be looking for units. And I'm loving the composition out of Don already. Spears, together with horsemen, a notoriously good composition against Rus and French, just because they love to go into those knights. But villagers got to be careful, as another one's going to go down, another two going to go down, another three potential. Oh my lord, how did those ones survive? He didn't take the shots. Militia on the front getting cleaned up. No +1 ranged armor coming in for these horsemen just yet. But by the same token, the archers on the other side have actually switched into steeled arrow instead of going for that armor. He's doing some pretty decent shots here. Spearmen also going to be coming out. Vils going to be looking to pop outside the town center. Battering rams under siege. And this town center, will it go down? That's going to be the question, as he manages to take out the battering ram right before that last hit comes through. And the TC is burning, but it does survive. And behind this, there are knights, or rather a knight being a little bit annoying. Scout back here as well, so able to spot out all those enemy units. And Don pops out the town center, comes in on the backside, repairs the TC back up. 7 Vils repairing. He's working towards maximum health on that TC. Very, very cautious of any subsequent pushes that are going to come in. And you know what I'd be really tempted to do here? Just throw down a couple of walls. Even just like one wall segment in the front here, 50 wood or so. It's just going to buy you so much time. Worst case scenario, your enemy has to go through it. Best case scenario, the battering rams go around it, and it just gives you free pops with your Vils. But it looks like Don does indeed clean up this little raid that was coming through. 6 workers so far down for Don. Core's done a good job to keep him down, but still we can see Don is climbing up 7 villagers at the moment. Core going to continue adding in more and more units. And we do see the battering rams rolling in off the blocks as the second attempt on this town center's life grows closer. Plenty of villagers here. He's going to be able to siege these down as long as Core's not paying attention. The horsemen do come in, get some free shots here. Looks like the battering ram's going to be largely ignored for the moment. No, the spear's just going to be turning and looking to deal with it. Horseman numbers are starting to dwindle. Doesn't have a lot of units here trying to take out the spears. I think the town center is going to be the one that's looking after them. Yeah, you can see the town center firing down on those spears. And no villagers traded out here. Still 6 workers lost for Don. So Core struggling there. And it's starting to feel like maybe Core needs to go up to 3 battering rams. One of the things I learned when I was playing the Chinese, playing with my Jukunu timing push, is that anything less than 3 battering rams, it feels almost impossible. 3 battering rams is like the critical number that you need, where even if they try and kill the battering rams, they're going to have to pull so many villagers that you're going to be able to trade out on those villagers. And if they don't pull Vils, they just won't be able to kill the battering rams in time. There's way too many. Now, while we've got this short lull in the action, I will let you guys know that both of these guys are on YouTube, both of them creating content. If you'd like to go and check them out, I will leave links in the description to where you can watch Core, where you can watch Don. For anybody unfamiliar with Don's content, Don is going through his ranked games and explaining his thought process, whereas Core's more looking at ranked games and asking the question, you know, why did we lose this game? So both very educational content, great stuff, similar stuff to what I'm doing over on Patreon, which of course you can always check out. I'll leave a link for that in the description, but both of these guys will have their respective links down there. So go check them out. Go show some love to fellow content creators over on YouTube, because that's where they both are. And look at this, Core now going to be adapting it out a bit, going into a second town center himself. So he's happy with the damage that he's put out, or maybe that's just it. Maybe he's not happy with the damage that he's put out, and as a result just kind of sits back and says, well, it wasn't working. I can't help but feel like had Core just attacked with that one single more battering ram on that first timing, you just got to wait for that extra 250 wood, would have made all the difference. And I think in realistic terms, it probably would have made all the difference. But we're right on board with Don. Is he gathering gold yet? He's got 1 villager on gold. This is so typically, so quintessentially Abbasid. 14 minutes into the game and only 1 villager on gold. He hasn't even looked at his upgrades yet. I mean, he's got double broadaxe, but that's about it. It's very interesting how the Abbasid can get away with no upgrades for so long. And look at this expansion coming out with outposts as well. I love Don's style. Not interested in scouting out the map. He just focuses on that central lane. If he was playing League, he'd be a mid laner. Actually, when he plays League, I think he's a jungler, if I remember correctly. He's either a jungler or a support. You know he's a support, because he doesn't have the IQ to be anything else. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All the support mains out there. You guys, hey, respect to the support mains. I'll be honest, support is a hard role to play. I've played support in League, in Dota. That is probably the hardest role to play because when you're losing, you feel so helpless. It's like, man, there's nothing I can do. I'm trying to get wards up. I'm just getting my wards denied. No one will come with me. I've died once. You know, the enemy team, there was 4 people in my jungle on a pink ward. And, you know, I walked around the wrong corner and just got destroyed. It's like, oh, man, support, it's not a fun role. It's one of those roles where you're going to get blamed for the loss, but you'll never get thanked for the win. But the push now starts to come through for Don. First of the Rams in. A lot of archers here on the defense, and we enter into the cinematic mode as it's time for Don to make his Mogul moves over here on the north side of the map. Archer numbers coming up. I'm not sure whether, we'll just quickly check. Does he have the upgrades? He's got no upgrades at all. Actually, doesn't even have ranged attack upgrades. Sorry for bringing the UI in and out so often, but remember that the defense on core does have those upgrades in, so it's going to make him a lot easier to go through this. Battering ram's going to be coming out on the defense here. Something I never thought I'd get to see. Seeing if he can try and draw any fire whatsoever. Anything he can take, he'll take it. And Militia going to get called to save the day. Militia, I need a hero. Where are you right now? And like a white knight in the middle of the night, the Militia come to save the day. But, well, the numbers here are looking pretty good for the Militia. This has been a pretty good hold here by Core. And Don takes out 2 production facilities that were built on the front. And we bring back the UI in. Let's take a look and see exactly where these guys are up to. Because Don's got a 13 villager lead, which isn't the biggest, not the most important lead. Because there are always relics in play, which are a great way for the Rus to get back into the game. But take a look at this. We've got a bit of a spearman raid. You're looking like Marine Lord out of a Golden League game right now. The spear raid coming in. Core starting to lose vills. He's lost 3 already. May potentially lose more. Keep in mind these vills have got their wheelbarrow. Dons don't yet. So they're going to be a little bit faster than those spears. Spears trying to catch them. 1.25 up against the 1.29 of the villagers. And Abbey of the Trinity is going to be going down. 3rd town center also for Core. Core going absolutely ham right now. And I'm loving Core's position, honestly. The fact he's going Castle Age. The fact that he is that he's going up to Castle together with the 3rd TC is awesome. The only problem is there is a chance that right now Donardi kills him. And that's what I'm starting to worry about, because if Donardi goes all in and it to be honest, he's got 192 gold a minute. There's only 1 vill on gold. Okay, there's more at the front. 6. So in total, there'll be 7, 8. So it does kind of look like he's going Castle, which will give Core a bit of breathing room here. And once Core gets up, like he will capture relics, and realistically he can probably take, 5 of the relics, depending on how Don looks to defend it. Because Don can just wall this one out. This is a very easy wall. Like, you just wall across here, and that one's safe. Put your military here. That one's safe. You can probably even look to contest. Maybe even this one up towards this position. Probably could deny this, depending on whether you want to park your units there. So we'll have to see how Core plays it. It's not going to be easy for him. But he moves into veteran archers, which I do like a lot. Veteran archers on +2 here are going to give Core a lot of ability to defend, just because he's up against units that have got absolutely no armor. Well, they got armor. They've just got no armor upgrades. They're coming through. He's got 3 tickets on the Kremlin as well. Keep in mind the Kremlin gremlins do shadow tech, which means that once you're Castle Age, they automatically get veterancy. I don't think they're called veteran militia, but they do get additional bonus damage against units. And let's see how Core looks to defend this. No Springwood in placement just yet for him. Does he have the resources for it? He does have the resources for it. I would have loved to have seen that Springwood in placement in. Makes the defense a little bit easier. Needs to call those gremlins out, though. And honestly, this Kremlin is doing work. I'm not going to lie. This Kremlin feels really, really good right now. Veterancy comes through on the archers. No +2 just yet, but Core holding on. Warrior Monk is out, moving up towards that north side. Just going to start off with the safe relics. Get that gold trickling in. I'm always a fan of going to the other side of the map, because your enemy might be looking to age up. You want to try and snag away those relics, because ideally in the late game, if you can get 5 relics, you're going to be laughing. You're going to be very, very happy. The Core with the veteran archers, he's in a great spot here. He's just going to be careful, avoid overextending. Keep in mind the farm transition should be coming through soon. Obviously, this is Lipany, so the extra berries on the map mean that you can delay farm transitions quite a bit, but looks like the town center might become the target. Not a lot to defend against the battering rams out here. You've got militia. They might be it. He's got no more tickets left on the militia. A couple men at arms. Men at arms definitely going to be very strong against this composition that Don's gone for. Don up on the military population, and the militia just running out right now. Huge damage coming out. Have a look how much damage is being done right here by these archers. A knight also going to be coming out. Town center almost looks certain to go down. I think you've just got to give it up at this point. Really smart decision by Don to go out for that TC. Units just not in position to defend. And now the archers going to continue falling back, fighting their way across. And at the north side, Don expanding out with outposts. So curious to see exactly what direction he's looking to take. I'd love to see additional warrior monks on the field here for core. But for the moment, it looks like he's just going to be sticking it out with the single one. And indeed, the town center does go down. Could have potentially pulled these goldvilles. Like, that's 15 goldvilles. You could have, like, you could have pulled 6 to repair and then 9 to siege. I think that would have been fine. You probably end up losing them, but the town center's worth it in the long run, I think. It's pretty hard to replace that TC now that it's gone. I mean, obviously you can do it, but it's a big effort. It's a big effort. Culture Wing now going to be coming through from Don. And more units towards that front side. Just got to be careful not to lose the knight. Indeed, it does go down. Spearman looking pretty solid here. We'll take a look and see whether he's picked up the Phalanx upgrade just yet. Indeed, he has. Sacred Site in the center. Gonna get run over. Now, this'll give Don Artie a heads up. Actually, it won't give him a heads up. He's only going for this one. So there was no gate on this top side wall. I figured there'd just be a gate. But there wasn't. So he's going to have to do the really long run. And look at Don. He's going to wall him out. He says, not going to happen. And that's the problem. When you hear that sacred sound or sacred site sound trigger, it just immediately says something in your head like, hey, defend the relics right now. And so we see all those walls coming out. But look at the warrior monk. He gets through. He could actually go for the Wallalol. He could have gone for the Wallalol there. I don't know whether he would have been able to pull it off, but Don allows him to live. And Don with crazy amounts of resources in the bank here. We hear those sacred sites being tread on, being stomped on by the warrior monks. Look at these villager positions. Don just going so greedy with these villager positions. Villager count right now, 96 versus 96. I don't know how Core's managed to even it up so well. He's done a great job. 15 workers have been killed this game by Core. So he's done a pretty decent job there. But going to lose a couple of knights here just to spears. A little bit careless. Now more and more of those warrior monks going to be coming through, and battering ram's going to be going in. Don Artie, 5 seconds away from aging up. We're right on board with him as he ages up. He's got so many resources. Does he just go straight Imperial? He could almost just go straight Imperial. It's Culture Wing. No, he doesn't. 10 knights in the queue for the Don. Let's ride on board and see exactly what he gets himself up to. +2 ranged armor. Preservation of knowledge coming through. Is that wedge rivets? I think it's wedge rivets. Yeah, it's wedge rivets. I can remember that one. That one's an easy one. I'll give myself 3 points for that. So how many stables are we talking here? 6 stables for Don. And there's more coming down. There's a 7th one coming down right now. So Don with a lot of production back here. So moving into Knights is going to be really solid. One way that Core can look to defend against this is with his militia. But remember, the militia are going to have to run across the map. We're right on board with Core now. He's got 3 tickets, so only the equivalent of 6 militia at the moment. Got to be really careful. Next, Warrior Monk coming out, making its way across the map, looking to pick up this relic. Still, oh, we do have a gate on that top side. So 3 relics here, picked up for Core. 4th one on the way back in as well. Not sure exactly where it is. Might be being held back here. Indeed, it is being held back here. And we got a little bit of a push on the front. Plenty of lancers in here on the defense. He's got +2 ranged armor going up against that 9 damage that's coming out from Core's archers, and you can see he's struggling. He's struggling with the amount of damage, and the relic does get picked up, so he manages to snag away all 5 relics. This is really solid for Core's late game. He's just got to be careful not to overextend, which I can't help but feel like he may have done here. If he was playing for the late game, it gives him a great option, because he's just got so much passive gold that's going to be coming through. Obviously, going up against the Abbasid, it's tough though, right? They're one of the kings of the late game. And Don Artie just cleaning up Core right now. Spears together with the Knights. And look at the spears just enveloping. I don't even know how to say it, how to think about it. Enveloping. Let's go with that. Enveloping all of the archers. And the archers going to have to run their way out of it. But look at this. More raids coming in. 27 worker kills. Core starting to climb up to 113 workers. A huge difference. And I should probably just mention, in case anybody's unaware, both of these guys are Conk 3 plus. So I think Core's about 2,000 rating. Don Artie about 2,000 rating as well. So pretty evenly matched. Both of these guys top 20 players. Very, very solid. But now the crossbow is going to come out A little bit of a discombobulation here with the crossbows. Not a solid mass of them built up. Relic did go down, so he's only sitting on the 4 relics, even though he hasn't put one of them away. And you can see that he's having a lot of trouble here. Despite only massing up archers, the enemy spears are just completely destroying him. He's going to have to run away from this. How do you deal with this many spears? Your archers got eaten alive. Did he just have to mix in crossbows a bit earlier? Perhaps that was the play. And now we got a real problem. Walla I don't even know why he's walla-lolling. I think he's just trying to distract his enemy. And Don Artie just pushing through. Look at the unit numbers from Don Artie. Just going to drop down the casual battering ram right in the front. Nice little raid. Still continuing over towards this east side. Core with about a 20 villager lead at the moment. But look at the military difference. Don Artie just says, you know what? I don't need relics. I don't need vills. All I need right now is units. And Core's in trouble. Core is actually in trouble at this point. It all stemmed from the military wing. It all came down from that military wing. He was able to get that second TC up. Delayed Core on the second TC himself. He thought he had to play one base up against the military wing. And then Don says, actually, I was scaling this whole damn time. And Don just finds his moment, finds his groove. I think if Don waited any later, it would be incredibly hard for him. And the question is whether he goes after the production or whether he just goes after the landmarks, because the numbers he's got right now are really solid. You can see that Core not really able to build a defense here, all the production towards this top side. And good game just going to get called. Core going to be tapping out. Well played by the Don fellas. Make sure you go check out these two creators. I'm going to leave links in the description to where you can catch them both. Both of them are on YouTube. Both of them are on Twitch, but go check out their YouTubes, all right? We want to pump up the YouTube numbers. We want to see more fellas over here, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.